So we talked about the initial structure in the morning, right?
Yep.
So once the initial structure is done, the LO is sending out the pre-approved package to the borrower for a purchase file, and the borrower shops around and start putting offers. And once the offer gets accepted, they get to open the escrow for their property. So the first step will be that we are getting notified by the LO that escrow is open. Once we are informed that escrow is open, we have to get the escrow contact first. That's our priority. So as soon as we get the escrow contacts, then we have to reach out to the escrow to get the lender package. So lender package is escrow instruction, RPA, prelim, master settlement statement. They receive all the documents that we need for loan submission. But as long as we get master settlement statement first, we can start submitting the loan to the investor that we're working with. So once the escrow opens, getting master settlement statement is the priority that we have to do. So whenever I have escrow contacts, I forward it to you and the junior processor. So either you or junior processor has to follow with escrow via phone call, email every 30 minutes until you get the master settlement statement so we can submit the file on the same day. That's our goal. And then also make sure that LOs are submitting MLO submit page in ERP so they can disclose their own fees. And then we have to double check the rate that they want to float when they submit the loan. And then some LOs do want to lock the rate at submission. That one also must be checked with the LO. So communicating between escrow, LO, and you is the key so that we can submit the file on the day one. So once we get the lender package, and then if we confirm the rate and fees with the LO, then we can submit the loan to the investor. Right now, Brenda is taking over submission part. So once you have all the information ready, then you ask Brenda to submit the loan to a specific lender or specific investor that LO is requesting. And then once Brenda submits the loan to the investor, she will either float the rate or lock the rate per LO's request. And she's going to send out the disclosures. It can be from our own system, from Calix, or it can be from investor portal. It depends on the channel that we're submitting. But Brenda's going to send out the disclosures and she will move the file in ERP from prospect to pipeline. So the ERP pipeline page is the page for the files that are currently working with our investors. So once she moves the file from prospect to pipeline, she will let us know that the file has been submitted. From there, the loan number should be assigned. If you get loan number assigned, the first thing you have to do is have junior processor to request updated escrow and title documents reflecting mortgagee clause. It can be our name if we are closing under our name as a non-delegated lender, but there's sometimes that we are submitting to the broker lender. So the mortgagee clause can be the other lender's name. There's a mortgagee clause section in our ERP system, so you can check the mortgagee clause anytime you want, and as well as junior processors. So have them request updated escrow and title documents from the escrow. And the other thing is for purchase file, you'll have to have junior processor to get the insurance quotes and then forward them to the LO so that the LO can forward that copies to the borrower to compare the insurance quotes and decide which insurance company they're going to go with. For the refinance, since they already have the insurance, we'll have to contact the insurance company to update the mortgagee clause. Like I said, we have mortgagee clause shown in our ERP. So you can have junior processor to reach out to the insurance company to update mortgagee clause on the current insurance. We'll have to get RCE, replacement cost estimator, and also invoice showing paid in full, because most of the time for refinance, borrower already paid off the annual premium. So we need to get the invoice showing the borrower has paid the insurance premium. If not, then it should be paid off through closing. Do you have any questions so far?
None so far.
Okay, so once we get that, I want you to work on all the LOEs. So once the loan number is assigned and the credit package, the submission package has been uploaded to the investor portal by Brenda. On top of that, I want you to work on LOEs for credit inquiries, address variations, maybe motivation or cash out letter if it's cash out. And then we wanted to upload all the LOEs required for loan review ahead of time, so we can get less conditions for CTC. So once the loan number assigned, after you assign all the work to the junior processor, work LOEs on your end, and then let me know when LOEs are ready so I can upload those LOEs to the investor portal as a submission. Okay. And once the loan is approved, we get the PTD approval, right? Do you see my screen right now?
Yep.
The first box is loan approved. If the loan is not approved, maybe it can be suspended or it can be denied. If that's the case, then we'll discuss to restructure the file. If there's any way that we can restructure the file, we may be resubmitting to the another lender or another investor. Or if there's no way around, then we have to let LO know that this loan can't be worked out on our end. If the loan is approved, PTD approval will be shared in folder. And as I always do, I'll have you review the PTD list and then organize the PTDs and decide from which party you have to get the documents from. And then you're going to work on the PTD conditions. While you're getting PTD conditions, I want you to review the documents that you are getting before sending them back to me. That way, you can also have an idea as to how or what part you have to look for when you're reviewing the specific documents. So even if I'm not maybe here or I'm not helping you to review the PTDs, you can review all the PTDs on your end. So that's our final goal. But for PTDs, just gather all the documents from any parties that are affiliated with this specific file. It can be from appraisal, from escrow, title, insurance, or power. Work on it, and once it's ready, you're gonna let me know so I can review and then finalize and then send them back to the underwriter for final review. So once all the PTDs are clear, then underwriter will clear to close. From there, we can get the loan docs out, right? And then once the loan docs are out, have junior processor to follow with escrow about the loan doc signing schedule. So we can have an idea when Power is going to sign the loan docs. Because once the loan docs are signed, we have to get the signed loan docs along with the updated settlement statement and then shipping label for the original note. For purchase transaction, we'll have to get escrow receipt for the final funds, right? And sometimes for rate and term refi, if there is any instance that Power has to bring the funds at closing, we also need to get escrow receipt for final funds for rate and term refi. So we have to request all of those documents. Once we have it, then we're gonna talk about the funding schedule with our funder and with the escrow. There's always COE set once the escrow is open for purchase file, right? But there is many times where the loan can be closed earlier than the actual COE or maybe later than the actual COE. So once we get all the signed loan docs, updated settlement statement, escrow receipt, final seller CD for purchase, and then original note shipping label, you'll have to ask escrow about the funding date. So once escrow confirms the actual funding date, from there, we're gonna request funding figures from our funding team. Right now, Romy is our funder, but we're gonna reassign to one of our junior processors to take over. So once the funder gives us the funding figures, then we're gonna forward that to the escrow officer to confirm if escrow balances to the wire amount. If escrow officer balances to our wire amount, then the funder will request funding from our warehouse. We are currently using two warehouses. One is Florida Capital Bank. The other one is First Funding. Florida Capital Bank, we fund the loan for full docs, all the full docs. For First Funding, we're funding non-QMs only. So if there's any bank statement loans, P&L, written BOE, any alternate document type of loans, we're requesting funding from First Funding. For any other full docs, even if jumbo, if it's full doc, then we request funding from Florida Capital Bank. So once we request funding, once the funder requests funding from our warehouse, they're going to confirm. And then once the wire is out, they give us a federal reference number. It's like a wire number. And once we get the federal reference number, it means that the wire has been released and it will hit title company account very soon. So we have to forward the federal reference number to escrow so that they can confirm with the title company if they get the wire.
Are we the one who will forward it, or it's the junior processor?
No, I'm the one who forwards. So senior processor should forward the Fed reference number to the escrow because junior processor doesn't have any access, and we have the main communication channel with the funding. So
Okay, got it.
yeah. So once escrow confirms that title received the wire, it means the loan has been funded. So you have to update the ERP, the loan status to fund it. So Peter can prepare a commission check with our LOs. And once it's funded, you'll have to have, she is also one of our members. She's the one who's currently managing our customer list for all customers that we've been closing with. And have she to update customer review list for the customers who close a loan with us. And we're asking them to leave a review for Giving Tree Lending and for their LO. So she's updating customer review list. So ask she to update the customer review list. And also you'll have to have junior processor to follow up on recording status. Once the loan is funded, the escrow gives authorization to title to release for recording. So once the title officer records the document, they sent us final settlement statement for both master, buyer, and they also provide the recorded documents, deed of trust. So we have to get all those three documents so that we can forward them to the investor so the loan can get purchased. So post-closing part is another part. So I'm not going to talk about too much details in this video, in this meeting. But once the loan is funded, that's what you have to do. Have she update the customer review list and then have junior processor to follow up on the recording status and get the recorded documents and final settlement statement.
Okay.
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 All right. And then on the left side of the screenshot, do you see the green boxes? Those are the tree timelines. I'm going to set up another training for the tree timelines, but just want to give you the heads up as a senior processor. Once the loan being submitted to the investor, you'll have to manage the tree timeline. So once the loan gets submitted to the investor, that's when Brenda sends out the initial disclosures, right? So once the initial disclosures are out, we have to confirm if the borrower e-signed the disclosures. Once borrower e-signed the initial disclosures, that's the time when we can order the appraisal. We cannot order the appraisal prior to signing disclosures, right? So make sure we get the confirmation from LO or borrower to confirm that they e-signed the disclosures so that we can order the appraisal, because appraisal always takes the time. So we want to order the appraisal ahead of time, even before underwriter approves the loan most of the time. So follow up on that one while we are waiting for underwriter's approval. And once the rate is locked, that's when we request lock delete. If the disclosures are generated by Brenda, our disclosure team, then we can just request from Brenda to send out the lock delete. But if the trade is being generated by the investor, then we have to follow with the investor until we get the lock-in out. So once the rate is locked, within 3 days, lock-in has to be out. So we have to follow up
Yeah.
to get the lock-in out. And once the borrower e-signs the lock-in, the day after the borrower signed lock-in is the day
Mhm.
when we can send out the initial CD, right? And then once the borrower e-signed the initial CD, there are 3 days waiting period
Mhm.
to get the loan docs out. So
Yep.
while we are working on the PTDs, we have to also take care of the tree timeline. So there won't be any delays because of the tree timeline. So make sure you follow up with the tree timeline while you are working on the PTDs. Okay. That's it for the loan flow for the loan from submission to funding. Is there any questions you have?
None at this point. Maybe if I'm already doing it, then
Mhm.
I would have a question. Yeah.